Happy Monday, Houston. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Kim Castro. This is what I'm tracking. We've got a lot of warmth this week. In fact, some temperatures might push towards records starting today. We also have a lot of cloud cover. That's just a lot of humidity that's been pumping in from the Gulf. That's going to lead to some overnight sea fog, and you could pretty much push repeat on that Monday through Friday. Saturday gets even warmer, and then Sunday we've got a front. So that's your next chance for shower activity. It's going to look a lot like this throughout the next few days. We're at 78 degrees for the lunch hour at Bush, so that's even warmer than where we were yesterday. Also, the difference between yesterday and today is we had mostly sunny skies yesterday. Now we're mostly cloudy. That's because dew points have climbed up into the 60s. That is the measure of moisture in the air. When we're in the 60s, we know that we are very humid. In fact, by tomorrow, we'll be pushing closer to the 70s, which means the air is pretty tropical even, and that's gonna just hang around. It's the air you can wear. It's gonna stick to our clothes. It's gonna make us hard to sweat off the heat, so it's gonna be pretty muggy. That continues throughout the afternoon. By tomorrow, some of that mugginess gets all the way down to the ground level, and it does create some fog, so it's gonna be reduced visibilities for us the next couple of mornings. High pressures to our east, and so that continues to funnel in all of this Gulf moisture. By Wednesday, well, it's the same thing. So high pressure starts shifting towards the southeast, and that means the general flow is still pumping in a lot of the warmth from Galveston. So the sea fog starts back up this evening as early as 7:30 in case you have any late night plans in Galveston, maybe a dinner you had penciled in there. Then it starts traveling up the Gulf Freeway during the overnight hours. By the time we're all headed into work, it's going to be pockets of heavy, dense fog, especially along I-10, the Katy Freeway. Katy usually has issues with fog because there's a lot of open field space and the grassy areas really hold on to the moisture, and there's a lot of condensation in those areas. So it can make for really dangerous driving conditions, which is why I'm advising that you give yourself a little extra time. So budget in more travel time to your commute to work by waking up a little bit earlier so you're not rushing in low visibility. You do want your low beam lights on though. That makes it easier to see. The general trend this week, even into next week, will feature above average temperatures. This is for the southern and southeastern part of the country. Notice the northeast has below average temperatures. That is where the cold air is going to stay locked in for now. If you're looking for some of that to sink down south, it is possible, but just a little later on in the month. Think after Valentine's Day, that's when I think we have the better chance to see some cooler temps return to the forecast, make it feel a little bit more like where we should be for this time of year. February's average high temperature should be in the mid 60s. 66 degrees is where we should be right now. We are going to be pushing towards the 80s each and every day, even the mid 80s by the time we get to Saturday. I'm looking for a high of 84 degrees. Sunday, I told you that's when we have our next front. We'll have some rain-cooled showers, and so that drops our temperature to 78 degrees. And then slowly but surely, we'll start to see some temps that are a little bit better. So perhaps even before Valentine's Day, we might see a couple of temperatures that are a little bit more comfortable. So stay close to me for that Valentine's Day forecast, so I show you what to wear so you're not either too cold or too warm. Regardless, make those reservations inside so you're on the safe side. Temperatures in and around your community. If you live in the Heights, Rutland Street, 78 degrees. This is our neighborhood weather network. I'm showing you gauges that are actually in people's homes, and so this is a good way for us to determine how warm we are area-wide. So 78 degrees for Rice Boulevard. This is just the lunchtime, so about 1 p.m. we're taking these temperature readings. We still have a ways to go. So by about maybe 2, 3 o'clock, I think that's when a lot of us are going to start pushing towards our high temperature of 80 or 81 degrees. The record is 80. So if you check your gauge at home and it says 80 degrees, well, then you'll know that we have officially tied a record. If we get to 81, we will have broken the record for today. Today is also significant because we're starting to see our sunset times get a little bit later. So this started on Sunday, sunset time was 6 o'clock. Today, sunset time is 6:01. So we're adding on a little bit more daylight. We're on the up and up. We had our cold, darker days of winter, and now we're starting to see some longer days emerge. Future track radar shows that there's cloud cover really throughout the afternoons, throughout the mornings. A couple breaks in the clouds for the late afternoon. We'll see that today. We'll see that on Tuesday. Tuesday, and we'll see it again on Wednesday, but the predominant feature is going to be clouds, humidity, and warmth. That takes us all the way through the start of the work week. The start of the weekend, I should say, through Saturday. Overnight temperatures, because of the cloud cover, means we don't see a whole lot of cooling off. So clouds act like an insulation layer. So when they're around, it keeps whatever warmth is below the clouds trapped. And whenever they're not present, the warmth escapes, so we are able to cool off. Since we have clouds, we're not cooling off. 65 degrees, that is going to be your overnight low. In the Heights, 67 if you're in Brookhaven. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. We talked about the record warmth. We talked about the warm starts, even in the mornings. Remember, the mornings is when we could see some of that patchy, dense sea fog, so careful on the drive. But otherwise, it's a pretty quiet 7-day forecast. Not a lot to track by way of storm systems until we get to Sunday. That's when we'll have a couple of scattered showers in the mix, and that'll be a welcome change as it will drop temperatures and humidity just a little bit.